We will read about the second part of our chapter, microorganisms and us. Out of this, we have read about the useful microorganisms. Now, a question arises, are all microorganisms useful? So there are some microorganisms that are useful and some that are harmful, and the harmful microorganisms are deadly. So as a coin has two faces, now we will read the second face of the microorganisms in which they are harmful. So harmful microorganisms are also called as disease-causing microorganisms, pathogens. They enter our body through air, water or food. Now they also enter when we come in contact with any person, with infected person. So like the recent most COVID-19, animals and insects are also carriers of the pathogens. Animals like dogs, rats, and mosquitoes, etc. Cholera, common cold, chicken pox and tuberculosis are some of the harmful microorganism causing some of the diseases caused by microorganisms. So you see here how illness is caused by microbes, how it is transmitted through air, through food and water, through sexual transmission and infection on the skin, okay, fungus, dust infections. So these are various ways. Then another, by bite of mosquito, by animal bite. So by bite of mosquito we have plasmodium, it enters into our body, it causes malaria. It's an example. There are many more like this. Then we will talk about how the common cold spread. Now when a person is suffering from common cold and he comes and sneezes near you, so what happens, the droplets of his sneeze come into the air, and that air, when it is inhaled by another healthy person, that person also catches cold. Now carriers of the diseases, these are some of the insects and animals. There are some insects and animals that cause disease, okay. So these insects like our mosquitoes and animals like dogs, so they are the carriers. These animals and insects are called the carriers, housefly and mosquitoes. These flies sit on the garbage. Then what do? Their pathogens stick on their bodies. When they sit on the garbage, all the pathogens come and stick to their legs. Now these legs are again, they go and fly, and on the food they go and sit on the food that is uncovered. Now these pathogens are transmitted, or they travel from the garbage to the food through their legs. Now whoever eats this contaminated food is likely to become sick. Now female Anopheles mosquito, it carries the parasite of malaria. Similarly, female Aedes mosquito carries the parasite of dengue, chikungunya and Zika virus. So very dangerous, deadly virus. Then control of disease, it can be done by cleaning our environment. Our mosquitoes breed in water, hence we should not let water to collect anywhere, in our coolers, in our tires, flower pots, anywhere nearby. And this keeping the surrounding clean is a very effective way of not allowing the mosquitoes to breed around. Some human diseases caused by microorganisms are here: tuberculosis, measles, chickenpox, polio, cholera, typhoid, hepatitis B and malaria. Okay, out of this, measles, chickenpox and polio, they are caused by virus. Cholera and typhoid by bacteria, hepatitis B by virus, and malaria by protozoa. Okay, now mode of transmission, by, you can see, air, water and insect. These are the modes of transmission. So how can we keep them away? Again by air, that is by keeping ourselves clean, vaccination and maintaining personal hygiene. So drinking boiled water, eating proper cooked food. Then here also keeping mosquito repellents. Then coming to the some causes of plant diseases. Citrus canker, you can see here on the lemon there are some brown spots. These are citrus canker. Rust of wheat, the leaves of the wheat become in this way. Then yellow vein mosaic of bhindi or okra. So it is that the veins become yellowish, okay. So these are the various pathogenic diseases in them. Some animal diseases like anthrax of the sheep and elephants, actinomycosis of cattle, it's a disease, black leg of cattle, vibriosis, brucellosis of domestic animals, etc. Talking about, so these organisms or these pathogens, they cause food poisoning also. This food poisoning means it is caused due to consumption of food which is spoilt by microorganisms. When we keep the food for long time outside, it smells, it becomes smelly, and when we, because of the microorganisms have grown in those food, and when they grow they produce some toxic substances. So it is necessary that we should preserve the food. Now preservation methods are here, you can see I have written here. Chemical method of preservation: salt, sugar, oil and vinegar, heat and cold treatment, storage and packaging, canning. Canning means keeping in containers. So first of all, chemical methods. Salt and edible oils are common chemical methods which we are using at home. Your mother also pickles, so adds salt. When you add salt in something, at that time what happens? The water comes out. So the product or the food becomes dry, and microorganisms cannot grow in that. Another thing is that when the salt is added, then the microorganisms die in it due to salt. Okay, edible oils, they prevent oxygen for the microorganisms, so microorganisms will not grow in it. Other some chemicals are sodium benzoate. Okay, here sodium metabisulfate. These are added in salts and in pickles also for preservatives. Okay, they are also used in jams and squashes. Then coming to preservation by common salt. Common salt is used to preserve meat and fish. Meat and fish are covered with dry salt to check the growth of bacteria. Salting is used to preserve amla, raw mangoes and tamarind. Then oil and vinegar, they prevent spoilage of pickles because bacteria cannot live in an environment where there is no oxygen. Then coming to preservation by sugar. Jams and jellies and squashes are preserved by sugar. Okay, so sugar also you must have heard about, like we say gulkand. In Hindi we say gulkand. Then we say that murabba. These are all made up of sugar syrups. Okay, sugar is added in them and they are kept in sun, and they leave all the water in them. The food leaves all the water, it becomes dehydrated, and sugar enters into it, or you can say never the organisms will destroy it, microorganisms. Then heat and cold. Proper heating and boiling of milk, it is used for preservation. Boiling kills the microorganisms. Similarly, if it is kept in refrigerator, low temperature inhibits or stops. Inhibits means stops the growth of microorganism. So boiling, who told that boiling is a good method? You see, Louis Pasteur, what he did, he told that if the milk is heated for about 70 degrees centigrade for 15 to 30 minutes and then suddenly it is cooled, then it will never be damaged by the microorganisms. Microorganisms will not grow in. This process is called pasteurization, which was discovered by Louis Pasteur. Then storage and packaging. These days, dry fruits and even vegetables are sold in sealed airtight packets. That is called storage and packaging. Then we will talk about the nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation means what happens actually, the nitrogen, first I will tell you that this nitrogen in the air, air contains 78% nitrogen, and out of this nitrogen is the main constituent of our body, of human body, of plant body, because nitrogen is necessary to make proteins, to make our DNA, to make the RNA in us, to make the nucleic acid. So for most of the enzymes also we need nitrogen. For all our activities we need nitrogen. Even you know that the food that is packaged in the packets, inside also there is some air. It is very tight, and when you put prick it with a needle, then air comes out. That air which comes out is a nitrogen. This nitrogen, which is present everywhere, is a very useful product, and is a very useful metal, or you can say it's a very useful element. So this nitrogen is also needed for the proteins, for making proteins. But one thing is that this nitrogen cannot be taken by the plants from the air. Plants can take oxygen from the air, they can take carbon dioxide from the air, but they cannot take nitrogen from air. They can take nitrogen only from the soil. So the soil, for that the air's nitrogen should go into the soil, and that going of the nitrogen from air into the soil is called nitrogen fixation. So here you see, this nitrogen fixation is a process in which the nitrogen from the air goes into the oil, or it is available for the plants to absorb. Only we are those organisms which depend upon plants for the food. Now plants will make the food. Now that food, for making the food, they need nitrogen, and this nitrogen will be available to them only from the soil, from the roots, that will be absorbed by the roots. Now how does this nitrogen go into the soil? It occurs in two ways, by bacterium rhizobium and by lightning. See here, the bacterium Rhizobium, we have read about it in class 7, that it lives in the root nodules of leguminous plants and where it has a symbiotic relationship in them. This Rhizobium has a capacity to convert the it captures the atmospheric nitrogen, and inside the roots only it turns it into soluble nitrates. Okay, so there only it is turned into nitrates. Now after by lightning, what happens? Another method is by lightning. What happens when there is lightning and thunderstorm? At that time there is some rainfall also, so that water of the rain, it reacts with nitrogen in presence of lightning and turns nitrogen into nitrous acid and nitric acid. This nitric acid comes down as acid rain, and it reacts with the salts which are present inside the soil. There are some calcium salts, and this will turn into calcium nitrate. That calcium nitrate will act as fertilizer, and that fertilizer will be taken up by the plants. I think you have understood nitrogen fixation. It's a very important thing that you should understand what is nitrogen fixation, how nitrogen is available to the plants. Now talking about, you see here in this picture that this nitrogen lightning fixation, that means from the lightning the nitrogen comes into the soil, and another one is through bacteria fixation, that is through bacteria also nitrogen comes into the. So this is the bacteria nitrogen fixation, and this is the lightning nitrogen fixation. After that it comes into the from the atmosphere, it comes into the soil and it is absorbed by the plant roots. So we will talk about it now. Next. The nitrogen cycle. Certain bacteria and blue-green algae present in the soil fix nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into nitrates. Okay, so here this is nitrogen fixation. Once nitrogen is converted into nitrates, it is absorbed by the plants through roots. Nitrogen is then used for the synthesis of plant proteins. Animal feeding on the plants get these proteins and other nitrogen compounds. So what happens here? Here you see, this nitrogen comes from the air into the soil, that is nitrogen fixation. Okay, then this nitrogen is now available to the plant. Now this plant will make proteins out of this nitrogen. Now what happens? Here you see, this plant will make nitrogen, will make proteins. Now these plant products are consumed by the animals. So animals will make their own proteins, and this process is called assimilation of nitrogen. That is, now the nitrogen is in the living world. So that is called, it is assimilated, it is spread in the living world. Assimilated in the living world means it is spread in the living world. Then what happens? These animals and plants, they die, they excrete. So what happens? All this organic matter goes back into the soil and they turn into ammonia. Okay, this ammonia, will turn nitrate. This process is called, it will turn into ammonia and nitrates. How it will turn? First of all, it will turn into ammonia it will be dead and decaying into ammonia. On this ammonia, some bacteria will act and it will turn into nitrates. These nitrates will turn back into nitrates by some bacteria, and some rest of them will turn into atmospheric nitrogen by denitrification. Okay, so this process is called nitrogen cycle, this full process. So animals feed on the plants, get the proteins and other nitrogen compounds. When plants and animals die, bacteria and fungi present in the soil convert the nitrogen waste into nitrogenous compounds that can be used by the plants again. Certain other bacteria convert some part of this nitrogenous compound into nitrogen gas, which goes back into the atmosphere. So the percentage of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains constant. So here you see, this nitrogen fixing bacteria will turn it into ammonia, and then it will be turned into nitrates. These nitrates will taken up by the plants for assimilation. Then here these animals will give out their excreta. These animals and plants will die. They will turn into NH4, means ammonia. This NH4 will convert again into nitrates by nitrifying bacteria. This is a nitrifying bacteria, and this process in which ammonia converts into nitrate is called nitrification. Then this nitrates will, by denitrifying bacteria, it will turn into atmospheric nitrogen. So this is the whole process of nitrogen cycle. That is how, and this is very important thing that you should know what is nitrogen cycle. Thank you.